Good morning, Warriors! Back with another episode of Figure Wars 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys doing well. You guys can see me. This is in daylight. I had a chance to do one before I actually go to work and do a couple things, and I wanted to kind of get one done. Didn't get a chance to do one last night, but I figured I'd do one this morning. So, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys continuing on your plan. All the conquests you can make, and continue to conquest, especially yourself and your self-control. All right, some shout-outs here before we actually start content. Radicalized Offline, thank you, my friend, for your comment. Jon the Dawn, as usual. Leo, my Steiko Moon, thank you. Frederick Gray, the book, Frederick, is called Kelder's Fountain of Youth. And there's a couple different versions of it over the years. I think first one was back in 1940 or something like that, maybe in 1950. And I had one in 85, and I think there's another one that's come out recently, the one I have now. So there's lots of versions of that. Dawson Boyer, great job using SR to break addictions, my friend. Keep doing that. It does break an addiction if you continue working on it, build habits. And we're all in a process, Warriors, one step at a time. So great job, Dawson there. Gian Langang, thank you. Elvin Henry, True Nathan son, thank you. And James Harrison, welcome Fiji Islands, welcome my friend, welcome to that. All right, so it's enough for today. We'll continue some of these tomorrow, and then I got to get into the new ones that you guys just kind of did this week. So the topic at about 2 minutes here, the topic is from Obdinga Mubutu. Thank you, Obdinga. I shout out to you, my friend. How to transmute to get semen out of your testicles sacs, kind of is the question. So I'll probably put it a little differently in the title. Maybe how to transmute after you get aroused or something like that. So let's kind of talk about this a second and kind of talk about ideas that we can kind of use. All right, so let's kind of go back to the premise a little bit here. When we talk about energy and we talk about what God has made you, you are a powerful human being whose one of the main jobs is to procreate. Obviously, other main jobs is to be powerful enough to protect and to protect nations, cities, families, towns. Also to go out and provide, to gather, in the old days, gather food. Nowadays, gather money, gather food, gather buildings, whatever it might be, to be able to, help other people. You are a strong individual. And so God's given you all those types of energies and vitamins and nutrients within your system to do that. And obviously, because you take a big part in having a child, because of the seed you present, you're the one that basically has that strength. Woman does not have that type of strength to have a child on her own, of course. So you have to provide that. And whether she gets it through a test tube, some people are doing that nowadays, or you give it to her, you're giving her energy. I was talking to my wife about this the other day even. We give energy to women, which is why you understand when people go ahead and have sex, the man falls asleep, the woman's energized. It's almost like I'm giving you energy. Men are very good givers when it comes to this. They're very good givers. Now, what happens when you use all these images and things that we do all the time? Now you're talking about giving energy up for nothing. You're throwing energy away. You're not having a child. You're not even giving it to your loved one. You're just throwing it away. And that's when you become depleted, because even though you might be depleted, you're still not doing it as often like you do with looking at pictures. It becomes very addictive, and it gives you a dopamine in the mind to be able to just continue doing it over and over again. This is why you got to get away from pictures. You got to get away from those type of things, and you got to focus on your goals, use that energy, and what we call transmuting it. And so when we talk about transmuting it, We're talking about the fact that in order to transmute, as Kelder said in his book of Fountain of Youth, you have to be able to have sexual energy. And, that's a gift from God to continue having it. Now, I'm fortunate enough and blessed enough to have a high level of it. And I did not throw a lot of it away, because even though I did have times when I was releasing, I wasn't doing it like a lot of my friends or people were doing it. And so they become very depleted, and now as time has gone on, you can see the physical deterioration that's happened. Now, I was very blessed in 1998 to find Kelder's Fountain of Youth book, which I attribute to 90% of what happened to me. Now, over the last 3 years, and I think it's at 1,032 days, something like that now, of not releasing, now I feel the benefits of that sixth right in the book. And that's one of the ways to transmute energy. Now, we talk about what Obdinga's saying here. He's talking about how to transmute when you get aroused. So, how do you transmute when you basically have that energy aroused, and now you're at a point where you're at like a breaking point, a crossroads, I guess, of releasing or not releasing? What do you actually, what can you do? Well, once again, what you're talking about is not releasing. You want to keep that within your body. So, obviously, Kelder's talking about standing up, holding your hands on your hips almost, taking deep breaths, and letting it out. And imagining that this is going through your system, going back up through your system. The key to all of this is stop the mind. So what I suggest doing, you could do this also when you go to sleep, you take deep breathing methods, you actually bring oxygen to your brain, and that will change your thought pattern. Whatever you're thinking about, you can think about something else. This is how you fall asleep, actually. We do the same thing when it comes to semen retention, to be able to get away from these images. Everything's in your mind, my friends. Satan, the evil one, uses this in your mind. So you could take the method of the deep breathing to go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to get this image out of my mind. And so you're at that crossroads where you could actually continue and release, or you could sit there and try to get that back in. Now, obviously, you're playing kind of a dangerous game when it comes to edging and all this other kind of stuff they may do. But the question Ding was asking is, how do you get that transmuting back? And basically what you can do is use that method. Plus you can, at emergency situations, is hold your nose, breathe in, change your finger to the other side, and breathe out. What you're going to do, my friends, is once again bring oxygen to your brain, and you're going to quickly forget that you're excited, and it will release, to calm down. Now, you may lose a little bit, you may lose a little bit, you may release a tiny bit, but certainly at that point, it's better than releasing all the way. You can always go back and start again and count off monk mode and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, the key is to keep as much energy as you want, as you can. And if you happen to lose a little, well, that's going to happen. This is a long-term type of thing for you. We have to, as warriors, realize that those things are going to happen. But you have some techniques, a couple of them that I just shared with you, in trying to say, okay, when you get to that point where you're about ready to release, how can you get this, how can you correct it back? And, at some point, you're at a point where you're almost there. And now you're saying, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Not easy, but something you can control. Once again, if you do use your deep breathing. Look at Kelder's exercise, right, number 6, or the one I just showed you, are two methods that I've used in the past to be able to do that. This allows you to get oxygen to your brain, and now you forget that you're almost at that point. Now, certainly, if you're not doing anything, once again, as we talked about before, you could run into frustration and different types of end results that are not positive because that's still in your system. And that's kind of what Obdinga was talking about here. It's still in your system. But what you want to do, and obviously we don't want to keep it in our system. We want to transmute it back into something that's positive, goal setting and things like that. So again, the key is when you find yourself in a situation, and some of us do, where you have to kind of at that crossroads, and you do not want to break, you don't want to break your habit, you do not want to break the pattern you have, you don't want to release, but you're so aroused that you have to, you feel like you have to do it, you're being pushed to do it by the evil one. Then take the deep breath, take deep breathing, try to just get your oxygen in your brain somehow. Deep breathing, the Kelder's exercise number 6, or the nose one. That's 3 that I can recommend right away to do, and do it that way. All right, great question, Obdinga. I appreciate that. I think that's certainly it's important to recognize that these things happen, and some of us get to the point where we're almost kind of at that point where we have to do something not to release. And that's always a good point. So again, thank you guys, and thank you for your shout outs. All right, my friends, I want you guys to have a great day. This is Saturday. Hopefully I'll do one tomorrow if I get a chance. If not, we'll come back next week and do one. But I hope you guys have a great weekend if I don't talk with you. And remember 2 things, my friend. Every day is a new day to a great warrior. I finally said that right. And secondly, remember always, guys, battle